Titles. Go.
Human trafficking ain't easy.
That sounds made up.
Brandon, shit the bed.
You should really practice more.
Plow the Coach.
Flippity floppity division.
LeBron James, that shit.
Kansas City Swifts?
Jesus, you should just really go after his family.
His head inside his bucket.
Butter?
It is butter. The fuck is that?
What have you been doing with that this whole show?
You don't want to know.
I can tell you it's probably soft right now.
Uh-oh.
SpaghettiOs.
SpaghettiOs.
Let's do this.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
I guess I'm Corbs.
I'm DC.
I'm Ron Burgundy. No? Okay, Jack.
Guys, what's got you geeked?
I have a problem.
Did you
Something
poop?
to be geeked about.
Yeah, that's weird.
A poop. That's a poop problem. Oh shit.
Just
Bring it
here
back
again.
in.
Over there.
Son of
I'm
a
assuming
bitch.
it's supposed to be
Yeah.
your Steam Deck.
No, it's not. Hold on. Let
Oh.
me remove my background here for just a second. I bought a Switch Lite,
Nice.
Nice, man.
and it's the same Hyrule edition, the Triforce edition that I got my 3DS in, so they match, and that's actually what made me pull the trigger, because this is, I think, relatively new, and I'm like, oh, and I've been thinking about it. You know, I don't know why. The biggest reason being emulation for it. It's not there really, so I'm like, you know what? I really want to play these games, and if I'm going to do it, I don't mind paying for it. And you know what? I'm having a blast. You know, I was having fun playing some Mario games on the 3DS. Was playing Mario Odyssey before we started here, and yeah, say what you want about Nintendo, but they make some really fun games. They're not gritty, they're not realistic, but damn, are they fun?
Mhm.
So I'm just, you know, it's a nice respite from the craziness of the world now. And that's got me geeked. I'm really enjoying this. I've only had it since yesterday, but
Nice.
yeah, that's it.
Very cool.
Quick and simple, basically. So, as we all know, job hunting sucks. And I told you guys off, Mike, that I'm going to be starting a new job next Monday. And what has me geeked is something I did at this job before. I get to do it again. I went last week to do it for the first time, and I want to do it once a month going forward. So I get to go to the Golisano Children's Hospital. I really enjoy doing that with some of the doctors I used to work with. And I get to read to them, get to hang out with them. Like, we just get to like have some fun, have some jokes, and see what's going on, and just read some stories. So what has me geek this week is just helping people, and it's something I really enjoy doing. And now that I'm going back to Upstate, because Golisano Children's Hospital is SUNY Upstate, I get to go see these children again, makes them laugh a little bit, bring a little brighter part of their day. So I don't know, just little things like that, just putting a smile to their face and take them out of what's ever they're bothering them for a couple minutes or something like that. Even though I can't read, I know Paul knows that, so I knew he was going to say that. So
I'm just wondering how you got around the court ordered distance rules.
I just gave him your name and it worked. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, because I'm not on a list. That's why.
That's why my name doesn't work anymore. So Hugh, your name worked out perfect. So thank you for that. That was what has me geek this week.
Jack, what are you doing? What are you going to be doing up there?
I'm going to be an administrative coordinator to the director of internal medicine at SUNY Upstate.
Okay.
So
That sounds like a made up thing.
I
It
was
does.
gonna say that. Oh my God.
So no, but also I'm gonna work with my infectious disease doctors again. It'll be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited. So like literally I just texted a couple doctors. I'm like, so let's do lunch. They're like, are you back at Upstate? I'm like, maybe. They're like, okay, then we'll do that. I'm like, sick. So it's
You
kind of
guys,
fun to go.
the cafeteria there is pretty good. You guys ever, when I used to work up at Kraus, you could go back and forth between the two.
Mhm.
Can you still go over to Kraus through Upstate?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to be at like 3 different locations. I have an office, but I'll be also working in the new Nappy Center that was just built 2 years ago. And that
Yeah,
building is
down
really
on
cool.
down on Air Boulevard.
Yep. Mhm.
Yep.
So it's really nice when they say they want you because like you interview and that's like it's so annoying. It's like, but we definitely decided we wanted to pick you for this opportunity. So kind of cool. But
Very cool.
go ahead.
Nice.
Corbs, what do you got? What has you geeked?
Which one?
Ooh, DC. Change it up a little bit.
What's got me geeked? I don't know. Watching the national championship game the other night had me geeked. Turned out to be a decent game. Um, it didn't look like that for a little while. After Ohio State went up big time. But it ended up turning out to be okay. My hockey team's in first place in the entire league. Capitals, they're 10-5, I was told tonight when I was talking to my son. Because I had to tell him that I got his registration for his car, came to me. Um, he's gonna come over and hang out either tomorrow or Friday because he goes back to school this weekend. Um, I put something on my Xbox that I shouldn't have put on my Xbox. Um,
Pornhub?
I am sleeping, but I was playing it up until Monday nonstop.
More porn,
So,
DC?
huh?
More porn?
No,
Okay.
nope. The one game that I shouldn't have on my Xbox is now back on my Xbox.
Skyrim.
Yep.
He's like,
So, uh, started where I left off. I did a couple of missions that I'd never done before. Now I've had this game 4 times. I've completed it 4 times, but because of all the add-ons and creation clubs and all this other kind of stuff, there's more things to do, and I just happened to stumble into they have the pre-made stuff on there and stumbled into something that kind of went into something else, and next thing you know, I'm 2.5 to 3.5 hours deep in a mission, and I'm like, I've never seen any of this shit before. Like, what the hell is going on? I thought I've seen everything. And then I have a little bit left over on a gift card, and I just got paid for the month. Paid all my stuff off. So for $12, I can get the anniversary edition added on to my Skyrim, which has got like 5 or 6 more add-ons, which I think I'm gonna do again. Dangerous. But for the last like 4 or 5 days, I've been playing a lot more college football. Kelly's son Bryce came over last night because Sean had cornhole, and at Christmas time he was talking shit to me about playing college football against me. So last night we threw down. It wasn't pretty. Uh, I don't let you win. You have to earn it.
So how
So,
bad did he beat you?
Huh?
How bad did he beat you?
He didn't. He almost rage quit 3 times. I was so I'll just give you the short version. So in the first game, he picked the University of Miami, so I picked
You.
Penn State. So then we were into the second quarter, and he says, well, I can beat you with a different team. I'm like, okay. And I was up like 30 or 40 points on him. So I said, okay. So he switched to Ohio State, and they're one of the highest rated teams in the game. So I picked the highest rated team. So I picked Georgia, which is one of my favorite teams in real life. So in the second quarter, he was like, I can beat you with SU. And I had already scored like on 9 straight drives. So I said, okay. So he picked Syracuse and I picked Arizona State. Now, I've had this game since July when it came out. I've only used certain teams. I've never used Arizona State. I don't know who's on their team except for one kid because I happen to watch his story on ESPN. So I said, I'm going to use this team. Told him what guy I was running, who I wanted to play with. And going into the third quarter, I was up by like 8 or 9 touchdowns. So we stopped playing. I had to pee real bad. I was drinking water the whole time. And so we went out and told his mom that he couldn't beat me. He had a headache. And I just looked at him and said, "You need to practice." So, but yeah, so we played it like if you combined all the quarters that we played, we probably played like 2.5 games. And I didn't only scored on, I didn't score on only 2 drives. One was because it was right before the half and I stepped out of bounds by accident. And the other one was he actually stopped me because I ran 4 consecutive plays that I'd never run ever in my life. So other than that, I scored every single time I had the ball. So let's put it this way: our night started off. He kicked the ball off to me, and I ran it back for a touchdown. So that was the very first play of the whole thing. So, but so yeah, and then after that, I've been watching a lot of Ink Master. I just love watching people create tattoos. So I can't have any. So because of the diabetes and stuff, at least from the waist down, and I'm just afraid of needles continuously poking you. Like I can have my blood drawn and
Is that just because you had to have the amputation, or is that a general diabetes thing?
The
Because
general
nobody.
diabetes. It's a
the
general
general
diabetes.
Oh
diabetes
shit!
from the waist
Nobody
down.
told.
Because what it is like from the waist up you can, it's the waist down, because one of the biggest things with people who have diabetes is your foot care. Because a lot of times you get neuropathy, which I have. Well, I have. I had it in both feet. Now I only have it in one because I only have one. So, but that's a big thing. Your blood doesn't clot very well. And stuff like that. You don't, you continuously bleed. The sore doesn't, the wound, if you get a wound, doesn't close like normal. Takes a long time
Takes a
for it
lot
to
longer.
heal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So waist up, fine. Waist down, no. So, but and I have really cool ideas for tattoos in my head that I would love to get. Plus, they're also like $600 to $700, especially the ones that I want. And I'm on a fixed income. I really can't do that unless you can, I can go in and pay like, a dime an hour or something. But other than that, that's about it. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
When I got that
Sorry, that was
twist
funny.
my arm right.
That's an arm, Paul.
The tattoo. When I got that one, he waited until he was done. Like he's gauzing it up and everything, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to ask. You're not diabetic or anything, right?" I was like,
Jesus.
"By the way, yeah." He's like, "Oh shit. Well, you play football, so I think you're probably all right."
Maybe he'll be like, I'll give you a discount, but just we won't do this
Right,
again.
Yeah. I've actually, well, I've actually asked I have asked my doctors before when Alex started getting his, he got his first one at 17 when we were in Virginia. You're not supposed to get him till you're 18, but down there they let you get him at 17 with parental permission. We went with him. So while he was getting his forearm tattooed with a tribute to his brother, my oldest son Jake, who passed away, and Shell got her nose pierced at the same time. So, but Alex has a bunch. He's got his forearm one for Jake. He's got a half sleeve on the other arm, which is all Washington Capitals. He's got a shark on his right, a great white shark on his right, small one on his right thigh, a dragon on his right calf, and then he's got a mother-son ankle tattoo, and he's got a golf club on his index finger that's faded. But he wants to get more. He's got the one he got first is a cross made out of hockey sticks with Jake's name and a banner with the brother number, which is the number 21, which is what they both wore playing hockey. So
Nice.
that's what he's got done. He wants a few more, but he has to pay his car payment, so he can't get one yet.
Right.
So
Damn life.
right.
All right. I guess it's my turn, right?
It is.
So for me, it's just bowling. Shocker. So my son and I are in a bowling league on Wednesday nights. We just had our third week. Well, depending on when this comes out. Well, we did just have our third week. So, but it's been fun. It's pretty cool. We go and have a good time. He works on his is bowling. I complain about my bowling, and I'm supposed to be pretty good at bowling, and after not bowling for 10 years or 15 years or whatever it's been, I suck. So, but I mean, I still show some spots where I'm pretty decent. But I used to be like a one average like a 180. Now I'm down to a 125 or something like that. So, but we actually um on Sunday, last Sunday, we actually were in a which I've never done before, which is weird. It's called a 9-pin no tap tournament.
What does no tap mean?
So what it is if you get 9 pins knocked down in the very first frame. So if you get a strike or 9 pins in the first frame, so the very first shot of the frame, it's considered a strike.
Okay.
So the but if you get eight or less, so if you get 8, 7, 6 in the first frame, you have to bowl out like you're trying to pick up the spare.
Okay.
That's the difference. And like I said, I'd never done it before, so it was kind of fun. Um, the scores can be very
Weird.
high. I saw there was a couple 300s,
Nice.
which is 12 straight strikes, but with 9 pin, it doesn't, like I said, you only have to get 9 pins in the first frame to get it.
Mhm.
So, there's a lot of 300s in a 9 pin no tap. So, but we went down, it was in Binghamton. We went down and saw his mother, my ex, and her new boyfriend. So nice. He's a nice guy. I met him.
Good.
Used to be former military, and he used to work for the sheriff's and the corrections office and the corrections building down there.
Mhm.
So nice guy. He's a great bowler. He ended up actually bowling in the bowl off team tournament at the end of the night with one of the so it's 3, 6, one of the 12 highest averages,
Wow.
and there was 36 lanes. There was probably close to 120, 125 people there.
Wow.
But I mean, it was all, I mean, there was women, there was kids, and there was, students and adults. So it was for one of the schools down there, and they were having
Cool.
a benefit. So, everything went to the school, I think probably to the bowling team or whatever down there. So, but it was a good time. I would definitely try to find another one to do either up here or go back down there and do another no tap tournament. So we had a
Cool.
good time with it. So
Very cool. All right, I guess it's my turn. So what's got me geeked? Because again, things haven't been really geekified lately. Um, is the fact that we're actually getting a little respect off of one of these cons we're doing, boys. We were
oh
actually announced as a guest at Syracuse Collectors Con for 2025, making us feel like we're one of the big boys. Like
wow.
we got our own little blast and everything that we're gonna be there. Um, this sounds like it's gonna be a really good show. Probably, I'd say the biggest pop culture convention that Syracuse is gonna have in 2025. There's other piddly little assholes in town that are acting like their show is gonna be great, but I mean, come on.
That's geektastic.
Geek-tastic. I love it.
Whoa.
Jack, help me out
S-
here. Who are some of the guests that are going to be at this show? Do you remember?
Yeah, the badass Billy Gunn. That's what I
Or
really want to see.
yes, Billy Gunn's going to be there. Dan Severn,
Yes.
UFC fame and WWE for a minute, I think. Right, Hugh?
I think so.
I think
Yeah,
so.
back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
But I think you're right though, Paul, you're hitting on it. But just come see us there because GeekPod has a special plan there.
Oh, we do.
We,
We
we,
came up with some ideas in a impromptu production meeting last week. So I'm not going to give anything away, but it's going to be a good time. I'm hoping some of our friends we made last year will be there again. It's getting dicey. Um, hey,
Jedi better be there, man.
well, I mean, Jedi runs that booth, so if
He
they're
runs the
there,
whole con.
yes. I think they've got like 7 different cosplay groups that are going to be set up there. Everybody from Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters to a Deadpool thing that, you know, he's not such a good guy. But um and a lot of other guests other than just a couple of wrestlers we mentioned. I mean, they're doing a Peanuts, like Charles Schultz, like comic strip Peanuts, reunion of a lot of the voice actors, including the one that played Ben Seaver. What is his name? They
Ben
just announced him as a guest.
Justin Nimmo. Is that who? No.
Nope.
Hang on. I'm looking at the site
Oh,
right
Ben
now.
C. Oh,
From
it was
Growing
like
Pains.
it starts with a J,
Jeremy
I think.
something.
Jeremy, yeah.
God, I'm
Hang on.
terrible. I
He's
should have
gonna be
looked this up.
there?
Yeah, they just announced him.
Oh, he's not on the. Then he's not on the.
Dude, now I want to go. Now I want to meet him too.
I mean, you are gonna go, Jack. You're contractually obligated to go.
See, this gets better and better.
So you got.
And also,
Wait a minute. Contract?
Hold on.
I didn't sign a contract.
I didn't
will.
either. They're DC, so I don't know what he's
I've
talking
got to
about.
get them out. That's a thing.
Hold on, I
Um,
got you. Hold on.
Wait a minute. You got to get them out like you get the others. Like never
Like the
mind.
episode's out. Yeah, you got it out
Yes.
6 months. You're good. Uh,
Jeremy Miller. It's a very
That's
easy
him,
name.
yeah.
Yes. Now
Little
you say
scumbum.
that, I
I've
remember
been
that.
waiting for my contract for 10
10
years.
There he is.
So yeah, I was
What?
just looking at. I just had their website up. You got Buff Bagwell's going to be there.
That's the other one. Our good friend Marcus.
So
Well, hopefully he'll be our good friend afterwards.
Eric Estrada's going to be there too.
Yes, Robert
What?
Wall, right?
Wait a minute. Eric Estrada as like Chips?
Yep,
Yes.
Chips fame.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
You're
Who'd
just
you say?
popping
Definitely
everyone's
get a pic-
geek
I
and
definitely
cherry,
want to
aren't
get a
you?
picture with him. Definitely want to get a picture with him.
One Up Wrestling is going to have their ring set up because that Saturday night. The show is, by the way, March 29th and 30th. I probably ought to mention that. 2025 if you're watching this way late about
Yeah,
when the episode comes out.
Robert Wall, Billy Gunn, Jordana Grace is going to be there.
It's gonna be a
Yeah.
great time.
Yeah, Dan
Wait,
Severn.
Robert Wall. Well, didn't he play
Arliss.
He
yes,
played
Arliss,
Arliss.
when he played
Batman. He was in Batman with
Yes.
Kim Basinger.
Alexander Knox. Yes.
Alexander
Knox.
Knox. Yes.
One of
When
my
you
favorite
said
movies.
Robert for a minute, I thought you were like Robert Loggia, but Robert Loggia's dead.
They're just going to dig him up and throw the corpse out. They put it out there.
No,
Those
that'll be a
selfies will
fun
be really
con.
cheap. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. This year, I'm going to try and talk to Derek, the guy that runs One Up Wrestling, and see if they'll actually tighten those ropes up so we can get that ring.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So, but let's keep this nonsense moving. We're going to throw it to break early tonight because we're going to come back with the news. Stick with us, guys.
Now, before you jump around on stage giving Nazi salutes because we're going to Mars like a giddy schoolboy who just discovered the other thing his penis can do, here's the news. First up, party like it's 2017. Things are weird right now. It's okay to feel however you feel. Donald Trump took office this week and is making changes with a speed and efficiency his previous circus of chaos could never manage. We lost the separation of church and state, but regained the separation of male and female, as well as the separation of Trump's hand in the Bible during his oath of office. We are apparently under invasion, DEI is dead, and you can now vacation on the Gulf of America coast. That last one was clearly the most important part of the agenda and almost got me to switch my vote. But the most egregious thing happened last night. Trump announced a $500 billion AI infrastructure program set to bring in over 10,000 jobs, and they are calling it Stargate. What the fuck, Donald Unpleasant? This is not the Stargate program we wanted or deserve. You just guaranteed the next Democratic ticket will be Richard Dean Anderson and Kurt Russell, with either James Spader or Michael Shanks as the Secretary of State. Jaffa Cree, motherfucker, and not a single person present knows what the hell that was all about. Next up, speaking of people who look exactly alike, it looks like Elon Musk has managed to muscle Vivek Ramaswamy out of the Department of Government Efficiency. Vivek announced he is eyeing a run for governor of Ohio and is proud he helped found Doge. I'm not sure why anyone is shocked that a white guy from South Africa, who clearly learned his cheer routines from Mein Kampf, would push a brown guy out of the spotlight. The rumors say it was due to his posts on X about the H-1B visa program, calling out America's culture of mediocrity. Of course, I have no idea what he's talking about, while I spend valuable time writing a news bit for a podcast no one listens to just to boost the ego of an IT guy with too many concussions and too little tact. Wait, what does mediocrity mean again? And finally, who's ready for a mediocrity part? I mean, Mario Party. Nintendo announced the worst kept secret in the video game world. The Switch 2 is coming, and it looks like it will be a big, well, Switch. While it's normal for other companies' new consoles to seem like upgraded versions of an old one, Nintendo usually takes chances on drastic changes between console revisions. This time it seems like they're playing it safe, which may not be a bad thing. While adult gamers tend to write off Nintendo as cartoonish and childish, the Switch is the top-selling console of this current generation by almost 100 million consoles. I know, shocking. I've been under the impression that Nintendo had been relegated to the number 3 spot for years, but that is not the case. Sticking with what works might be a good strategy. And there are some cool things like using the Joy-Cons as a mouse, that being the cool feature used in every launch game never to show up again, but it mostly looks like mostly the same. And that is okay. Having anything that stays the same is a small miracle right now. And that's the news, kids. Now, I have a word of advice. If you're feeling down about the world, I have a strategy to make you feel much better. Go start a run on Dark Souls. That's like the great, great, great grandfather of Elden Ring. Same idea, same concept. I promise you, if you spend half an hour a day getting your ass handed to you by something that moves so fast you can't tell if it's a zombie, a troll, or a giant ice cream machine covered in cancer, returning to a world with Trump in charge seems a bit less brutal. Paul?
In other news, did you hear about the cartoonist found dead at his home? Details are sketchy. Back to you, Corbs.
So not right.
Wow.
Yeah.
They need a sketch artist there, don't they, to discover the body?
I got nothing. I
I
got
was waiting
nothing.
for that.
The random shit that you come up with just fucking amazes me.
I think you just said, did Brandon shit
Oh,
the
it's just
bed?
hilarious.
Like, who's Brandon?
Let's
So-
go, Brandon.
Shitting the bed.
Brandon shit the bed?
That's what I thought you
Well,
said.
pretty much.
What happened? All right. Sports.
Sports.
That's it.
Moving on.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess we got to talk about it. Football.
Football.
Moving on.
That's it.
You're all just bitter.
I'm so glad I showed up tonight.
So, last weekend's football games were pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Eagles beat the Rams. Jack, I don't know what was the final score. I don't remember.
28-22.
28-20. Okay.
Had a little heart attack in the middle.
Yeah, it was close. We were watching it Sunday when we were at the bowling alley. It was on, and it was snowing there, so I was like, "Oh, that's going to be fun." But yeah, the Eagles won. The shocker of the weekend was the Commanders beating the Lions. Lions were 15-1, looked like they were a shoe-in for the Super Bowl, and the Commanders took it to them. Lions had 5 turnovers. It's the second time this year they've had 5 or more turnovers. The last time they had 5 turnovers, though, they won. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, and they won the game. That game was a Monday night game. I can't remember who they beat, but it was
Texans.
Was it the Texans? Okay. So that was the surprise, and I'm happy for for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders from them being so bad for so long. You know, they've had some good teams sporadically thrown throughout their last 20 years, but they've been, you know, the bottom of the barrel for 15 of those 20 years. Just bad ownership, bad management, whatever you want to call it. It's good to see them back on top again. So, and watching, I didn't really watch much of that game, but watching, I watched the game before when they played Tampa Bay. Jaden Daniels is the real deal. He is the rookie of the year this year. Um, he he's very poised. It's shocking to see a rookie quarterback that doing what he's doing. Hasn't been many of those guys in a long time that have been that good that you can take a team that was 6-10 or something last year, and they're 10-6 this year. I mean, it's a drastic turnaround for that team. So I hope, Jack, no offense, but I do hope that they do beat the Eagles. I'd love to see them in the Super Bowl this year.
It's all good. Like before we got on this podcast for a Geek Pod moment, Jaden Daniels, did you know, Corbs? He does virtual reality for every week before the games. He does virtual reality. When he said whoever drafts him, he wants this all AI virtual reality thing put in place so he can prep for games. That's pretty
That's
cool.
pretty cool. Well, I mean, that's probably the way the future is going to go. Everybody's going to be doing but that's a great way to prepare. I mean, if you're going through the game that way and going through the walkthrough like that on your own time like that, that definitely would make the in-game stuff a lot easier to handle. You've seen it ahead of time. You kind of know what they're doing and stuff like that, and that's I did not know that, and that's pretty cool. So the other thing is, the other two games, um, Chiefs beat the Texans, which nobody likes the Chiefs, um, and then the Bills beat the Ravens. The Bills should not have beat the Ravens. Uh, the tight end for the Ravens dropped a 2-point conversion that would have tied the game. He dropped a couple of passes. Again, it was snowing. It was cold there. Nothing against the Texas
Mark Andrews.
Mark
Yeah.
Andrews, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did the best he could. They came back to be within 2 points that late in the game against the Bills. The Bills looked like they were kind of running away with it for a while. But the Chiefs game is the one that has caught the most attention for some questionable, I guess is what we'll say, questionable calls. So, and it's been going on all year, and people are bitching about it all year that the Chiefs are getting calls. I think I mentioned something about it a couple weeks ago, before Christmas break about the calls that the Chiefs have been getting and not getting called against them, but getting calls for them. It was pretty bad on Sunday. Patrick Mahomes was scrambling out of the pocket and slid late, and he was a runner at this point, so he slid late. The two Texans defenders went to hit him, and they hit each other helmet to helmet. Like the two Texans hit helmet to helmet, and he slid underneath it, and they called a personal foul on the two Texans for hitting Patrick Mahomes when he didn't get hit. And even it's bad. The calls are bad when the announcers say, "Oh, come on. He didn't even get hit. How can you call that?" And then he was scrambling outside the pocket and went out of bounds and slowed up as he was going out of bounds. Now, Paul, you've played football. Danny, I know you played football. I played
have.
football. Now, we played football in a different era.
Yes, you did, Paul. I'll fill you in after the show.
Concussion.
Give me
We
those
played-
years
we-
back.
we- We played in a different era. It was a lot more physical, I guess is the correct terminology.
Unsafe was something else you might want to say.
Yeah,
Physical. I like physical. What you
If it
said.
was unsafe, I mean, if the guy ran out of bounds, you ran out with him, then threw him into the stands. I mean,
Right.
that's just normal.
right. So that's what I was getting at. I mean, guys got hit going out of bounds all the time growing up.
Yep.
And in the NFL, I mean, the concussions. I know that they're trying to prevent concussions, and that's a great way to go. We've talked about it. Paul doesn't remember his concussions. He's only had 17 of them documented.
He's had one during the show, Corbs. Let's be honest here.
There's one about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We have another one planned for another 5 minutes from now too. So
So I can remember guys, Jim McMahon talking about not being able to see, taking a concussion, stuff like that. Troy Aikman's talked about his, 9 or 10 concussions that he played with. I mean, those are concussions that are documented, and that's what they all say is those are the documented ones. How many are not documented of these guys?
Mhm.
And I get it. They're trying to prevent the concussion, which is what they're supposed to do. I get that side of it. But so when we played, you guys ran out of bounds. I mean, you were a fucking free game at that point. If you're heading out of bounds, be ready to get hit. You know. So what Patrick Mahomes does is he'll go to the sideline like he's going to run out of bounds, and he'll slow up, and the guy will bump into him in the back, and he flops.
Mhm.
Right, and he throws his arms up and falls down and rolls over and complains, and then he gets a flag for a late hit. And
He LeBron James is that shit.
100%.
yeah, Corbs, I remember it was like Madden 02 or something like that. There was a glitch in the game because, like you said, when you go out of bounds, it's fair game. I would always take my running back or quarterback and go out of bounds and plow over the coach. And literally, he'll always had to be escorted off on a stretcher. It was a permanent glitch in the game. They're like, somebody else has to call the game. The coach is hurt now. So I would intentionally do that every single time. So like the
Nice.
coach's head would go inside its like body. It would be like, "Brr." But back to your segment. Go ahead.
So, but yeah, I mean that's it. It's just he's they're probably not getting as many calls as everybody's bitching about, but there's so outrageous calls that they're getting that are happening for the other team and they're not getting them. So that's where the issue comes in. I mean, they've they won a couple of games they beat the Raiders when they shouldn't have beat the Raiders on a bad call.
That was an
The
awful game.
referees called. At first, they called illegal motion and then waved it off and gave the ball to the Raiders. There was like 17 seconds left, and they were in field goal range, and they were losing by 2 points. And they had an illegal motion, and the guy snapped the ball after the flag was thrown. And then they said, "Well, no, it's a fumble. We let the play go. It's a fumble now." And the Chiefs recovered it, and then they ran out the clock. So, I mean, there's just stuff like that. So, it's just I think you're going to see some drastic changes in the NFL referees next year. I think so, and I was talking to somebody about it over the week. I think it might have been over the weekend or something. I was saying, you'll see this week against the Chiefs. A couple, he won't get a few of those calls this week because everybody's gonna be watching to see them get those calls, and they're gonna bitch about it. I heard one guy, and I don't know, I think it was somebody on, I don't know, TikTok or before it got shut down or whatever.
For a minute.
Something like that, or it might have been somewhere. Somebody said that it might be worth getting ejected to hit him as he's going down, just to prove to a point that you have to stop doing because he slides. What he does is he slides late. When you slide, you're not supposed to get hit.
Mhm.
But he slides late as guys are already leaning in to hit him, and then he goes down, and then he bitches that he gets hit late. So that's where a lot of the bitches come.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do that, you can't tap them. You have to.
No,
blow
yeah,
them up.
you gotta
Gotta
hit
blow
him.
them up.
Yeah,
Blow them up. Teach them a lesson.
right.
I mean,
Of
like you
course,
said,
yeah.
we go back, to our, like in our era and stuff like this. Yes. Now, if you breathe on somebody, you get a
Mhm.
flag.
Right.
Back in the day, you fucking sacked the quarterback. You immediately ran in the stands and went after his family. So,
Damn.
you now, and I get it. You want to protect the guy. The league wants to protect the guys that are making the most money, first of all.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes makes the most money in the league. He makes $50 million a year or more. So if you so much as breathe on him wrong, you're going to get a flag.
Right.
But if you're going to get ejected anyway,
Right.
blow
Blow
his
his up.
ass up.
Yep.
Because you're right, though, back in the day, DC, you're right. I mentioned this on a previous podcast. Brian Dawkins was my favorite player of all time. He literally looked at the offensive lineman and said, I'm coming for your soul. And like literally he jumped over like the offensive lineman and pelted the quarterback to the ground. But Corbs, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So predictions, AFC championship game, NFC championship game, your segment, who is winning both games to go to Super Bowl 59?
So I've already said that I wish that the Commanders would win against the
Hmm.
Eagles. That's my wish, but I don't know. Uh, that's going to be the best. I think going to be probably the best game of the weekend. That's probably be the closest game this weekend. I don't see the Chiefs and the Bills it being a contest this year. I think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs this year. I think the Bills played better than the Chiefs played last weekend, and the Bills didn't play that great. So, and they're going to be in Kansas City, so it's not like it's going to be a cold thing. I mean, you come from Buffalo to Kansas City, it's probably going to be a little warmer in Kansas City, so that's not going to be a factor for them. I don't see it being a real factor in the other game either because both teams are cold weather teams. I mean, Washington may be a little bit warmer. They don't get as much snow, but everybody's getting pelted with snow up the East Coast right now as it is. So that's going to change things too, I think. I think if it's snowed and the field's covered and all that stuff, then it changes things. I mean, the Eagles have too much. They have too much firepower. I mean, when you can literally turn around and hand the ball to Saquon Barkley and just let him run over people or jump backwards over people or whatever the case may be, that's a game changer. That's a game changer for everything. I just don't see the Commanders don't have that type of running back. Brian Robinson is a good running back, but he's not Saquon Barkley. So
It'll be interesting too because my whole family are Bills fans and I'm the lone Eagle fan. So literally when they played last year in Philadelphia, when Jalen Hurts had that scramble to win the game, it was like in overtime. The Bills were winning the whole game. I literally ran out of my parents' house. I'm like, I bid you adieu. So literally, if this happens again, literally my mom's like, Are you really gonna root for the Eagles if the Bills and Eagles are in the Super Bowl? I'm like, Yeah. She's like, What the fuck? I'm gonna hate you for that day. I'm like, Bring it on. So literally, we've always wanted that our whole lives, a Bills Eagles Super Bowl. But
I,
you said,
I,
yeah, who said?
that's what I'm figuring is the Super Bowl this year. Bills
Okay.
Eagles. I think is I remember I was going to say that the Super Bowl matchup is the Kansas City and Buffalo, and they were talking about that last week that, and Danny and I were talking about this too. That just think about the guys you have to go through in the AFC. You got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, C.J. Stroud,
Tua,
Tua.
And I
I mean,
think
look at all these guys.
Bo Nix is going to be something
Bo
special.
Nix, right? I mean, you just
Justin
named
Herbert,
you,
yeah.
you just named nine guys out of that division. I mean, and you got to throw in Aaron Rodgers. He's in the division right now. I mean, he's past his prime. Everybody will agree with that, and he probably will retire at some point. But I mean, don't take it away. Russell Wilson played great this year. He's in the division. I mean, there's a lot of teams that you have to go through, and like Dana, only seven of those quarterbacks make the playoffs. So you have to beat seven top 10 quarterbacks to get through that division to get to the Super Bowl. There's not that many in the NFC. I mean, you got Jalen Hurts, you got Kyler Murray. I mean, you could throw Brock Purdy in there, I guess. He's decent enough. I think he's a manageable quarterback. Um,
Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford.
yeah, Goff and Stafford. But after that, I mean, Bryce Young played okay, but his team is horrible. I mean, there's not many top level quarterbacks in the NFC as there are in the AFC. So everybody says the AFC is that's going to be that's their quote unquote Super Bowl matchup because you're never going to get them in the Super Bowl together. So, but I think it's the Bills year. I think the Bills get there this year. And
I
for
fucking hope so. I hate Kansas City with a passion, and Paul, you should too.
There was a meme online that was pretty funny that I was reading this morning. It literally said because the Bills are 3-1 versus Kansas City in the regular
yeah,
season, but they're 0-3 in the postseason. They're like, there's no team more deserving than the Buffalo Bills to beat Kansas City. No team has ever gone 0-4 in the postseason versus a team. I was
Right.
like, I said that to my mom today. She's like, you fucking asshole. I'm like, Jesus Christ, ma,
Yeah,
language.
but remember, they didn't lose to the Cowboys every year, those 4 years.
They lost all 4 Super Bowls, 4 straight years.
Right, but they didn't lose to one team. They lost to
No.
The
Three
Giants.
Giants, Redskins, Cowboys, Cowboys.
three different teams in 4 years. They lost to, but on the same token, they got the 4 straight Super Bowls.
Impressive.
That's the only time that's been done. I mean,
Mhm.
until maybe this year, I guess, with Homo.
He's just a crybaby. Brady was an asshole, but he's just a
Right, and
crybaby.
that's what I was getting at. They were talking about that. They were talking about Josh Allen's nemesis is Patrick Mahomes. It's just like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. You have to, at some point, you're gonna have to beat him to get to the Super Bowl. Manning did it. They won the Super Bowl the year he did it. So at some point he's going to beat him. That's the whole thing. At some point he's going to. Mahomes is not going to. Well, maybe I think they get enough calls. Maybe. At some point he's going to beat him, and they're going to get to the Super Bowl that way. So I'm hoping it's this year. I really do. I really, really don't want the Chiefs to be.
I never want the Chiefs to go.
Yeah, but you and Paul have different reasons for that.
Yeah,
See,
so
I've always been conflicted though, because I was a huge Marcus Allen fan, and he went from the Raiders to the Chiefs.
yes, Raiders to the
So,
Chiefs. Yes, that was me too. I actually met Marcus Allen.
I hate
So,
And Patrick Mahomes
I
talks
think I
like Kermit
still
the
have my
Frog.
Marcus Allen jersey in my closet.
yeah,
Do you-
I
I'm
met
sure it
Marcus
doesn't
Allen
fit
in
anymore.
I met Marcus Allen in Disney World.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was either sophomore in high school or sophomore in college. 'Cause we went
Sophomore in
both
high
those
school.
years.
I was in 8th grade when we went there.
Yeah, so I was a sophomore in high school,
Nice.
That's so
and
cool.
we were walking by this little amphitheater, and they said coming out on the stage right now is Marcus Allen, and my dad looked at me and he goes, "All right." They went and did something, and I sat down.
You stayed right there.
I sat right down. They were like, "Does anybody have a question?" My hand shot up, and I was like, "Mr. Allen," I said, just so you know, live in Syracuse, New York. I'm probably the biggest Raider fan on the East Coast. And I said, I love watching you play football. I said, but there's one thing that I really have to know. And he says, okay. I was like, what is your relationship with Al Davis? And he says, you know what, Mr. Corbin, I appreciate that. He goes, but I'm not going to answer that question.
Ouch. Yeah.
I'm here
I
so
was
I won't
like-
get fined.
I was like,
Understood.
fair enough. I was like,
Yep.
fair enough, because Al went to Syracuse.
Mhm.
He went here.
Yeah, he did.
Mhm.
So, being in that, but Marcus Allen, I actually have a Raider football helmet, a game used football helmet that has Marcus Allen, Jim Plunkett, Ray Guy, Howie Long, Jim Otto, Cliff Branch, all autographs on it.
That's awesome.
It's in a glass case. It's actually in storage because I can't
No place to put
have it out because there's no place to put it.
What's wrong with the kitchen table?
I don't know. My mom might have something to say with that.
Do you have a mantle you can put that on?
Nope,
Put that over.
not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
But I might.
But one last thing with your sports talk. You guys
Yeah.
keep talking about this team called the Chiefs. Do you mean the Kansas City Swifts?
And Patrick Mahomes talks like Kermit
mean-
the Frog too. Corbs.
I mean the Kansas City Chefs.
yeah.
Chefs.
Googly
Great
moogly.
Google. Great,
Great googly moogly, great.
great
got that.
Googly Moogly. Yep.
So,
All
Eddie,
right.
do you remember who else we met on that trip in Florida that year? Who I met?
Huh?
Who I met? We went to his amusement park.
Huh?
We went to his his amusement park. It was
Mike
Michael
Greenwell.
Jackson.
Mike Greenwell.
Mike Greenwell from the Boston Red Sox.
Yep.
Nice.
He had his own like batting cage and go-karts and all that stuff. So we went down there, and I had sent my bat to my aunt's house because we went to my aunt's house. And we decided to take a ride to his place so I could get in some practice while I was down there, because it was like 2 months to baseball season, and I was like, all right, I want to start getting into the swing of things. Just before I had my own pitching machine in my house. So we went down there, and I was in the batting cages, and I was hitting, and I stepped out, and sure enough, he was standing right there. He goes, "You got a pretty nice swing." So and we started talking about it and stuff like that, and so yeah, I got to meet Mike Greenwell.
Yeah, that was
Did
awesome.
you
He signed
know
a
that he
couple
was hitting on
baseballs
you?
for us, and yeah,
Yeah.
he was nice. That guy could hit.
Oh yeah, he could.
He could definitely hit. But yeah,
I'll know who he is.
I forgot about
You know
that.
who Mike Greenwell is. You're a
Absolutely.
Red Sox fan, so
A lapsed Red Sox fan. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you who's on the fucking squad now, but
I can tell you.
Anyway.
I can tell you who's on the squad now. It's my starting pitcher from last year. Fucker.
Everybody's on different teams for your team, Corbs.
I know. Seriously, they're just treating everybody.
All
You're gonna play
right.
good out here.
Where are we at?
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Let's
Wrestling.
fucking talk some wrestling.
I was very excited this week. I got my reminder. I had to get home and watch it.
That sounds
Were you on another date again and had to get home?
Maybe not. We actually went Dutch on that date, so I didn't have to pay for the whole day. But yes, it was a
That's
good.
not wrestling. God damn it. This isn't the fucking Jack Date segment.
I'm just so happy I get reminders, though. But go ahead.
All right, so yes, it's a WWE segment because AEW hasn't been a thing for me in quite a while. But we got coming up next is Saturday night's main event this coming Saturday, the 25th. I love these things. Like as you guys could tell in our group chat the last time, I was like giddy like a schoolgirl about Saturday night's main event. I love the throwback feel to it.
Yep. I love the last one. They had Jesse the Body come back.
And I think he's going to be back again. I think
Is he?
that's going to be
Okay,
a
cool.
regular
Because
thing.
I can remember watching Saturday's main event when I was younger, when we were younger, and it was on every month on a Saturday night
Yep.
or every Saturday night it was on, and Jesse was the commentator.
Mm-hmm. Him and
I can remember that, so it was cool to watch the first one and have them bring him back.
Yeah.
You know, with these guest commentators, though, they had JBL this week on SmackDown or Raw. I forget which one it was.
He was on Raw.
I bring them back for the whole show.
Yeah, that was
instead
not
of
just
a
one segment.
Yeah, that was weird. Like JBL was there for just
The
one
match.
New Day.
Yeah.
New Day match. And then he was gone.
And I expected him to clothesline somebody. Like
I kinda
the
thought
way
he
they
was
were
gonna do-
disrespecting him, like I thought he was going to clothesline somebody.
Yeah, I kind of thought
Oh.
the same thing. I kind of was like, he's gonna get up there at some point
Mhm.
and hit one of them with the clothesline from hell.
I couldn't tell. Has he figured out how to buy a suit that fits?
Not sure.
I
haven't
did
been
see
able to
some.
watch
He's got enough money;
Yeah.
he can buy suits that fit
Right.
him.
I did see some pictures though. He is in the gym again, so he is
Mhm.
probably getting back into shape a little bit.
He's got a lot going this year. He's been doing a lot of indie stuff. That
said
was
there's-
what the comment was Monday night is he's on his clothesline from Hell tour. So he's
Okay.
been doing a lot of this stuff. I think he's working his way back to doing something with WWE.
Yeah, that's what I kind of heard the same thing. Like he might be coming back for
I think it'll be like one-off shit. I mean, like he's not going to jump back on the roster. He's,
maybe he wrestles Cena at some point. You know,
I mean,
On
maybe
the
he
farewell
might be
tour.
one of the guest entrants in Royal
Royal
Rumble.
Rumble.
which
I
we're
remember
gonna talk
seeing
about.
him in what was it, 1997, No Way Out with Kane on the cover, and it was John Bradshaw where he came out as cowboy getup and he faced Vader.
Justin Hawk Bradshaw. That's who he was
Ooh,
then. Yes.
Thank you. I knew you'd
With his
correct me.
cowboy.
Yes.
gimmick. Yeah.
And it was like versus
I know,
Vader's
let
like,
him
oh,
go.
it's time. Vader, time.
Vader time.
If
Yeah.
he's gonna jump back in, he's gonna jump back into the APA.
I would love
Oh,
that. Bring
that'd be
Ron
just
Simmons
great.
back. Yes.
Yes,
But
I would love that.
but it's got to be the APA. I mean, you got to have
The door.
the door, but you got to have Ron Simmons with the
Damn.
damn.
Yeah,
I know, like
yeah, you
literally,
have
yeah.
to.
He goes
You
to
know?
like he's like talking to somebody, like who's he talking to? And then just goes to Ron Simmons' face. It's like, damn.
I mean,
Well,
the
yeah.
WWE were like, are we really paying this guy this much to say one word every week?
Yep.
Yes, because it just fit like it. You know, you got to think about that too. He just does, has that one thing. I mean, think about when they had the Godfather on there. They paid him. He was a terrible wrestler, but his whole thing was he was a pimp.
Pimpin' ain't easy.
Pimpin' ain't easy.
There it is.
That's right.
I would disagree about the terrible wrestler thing.
Yeah.
He had a lot of good gimmicks.
Oh, he did, but the one thing that he said he hated was the Good Father.
Mhm.
He hated to go from the Godfather to the Good Father because the Godfather thing, like that was like his thing.
Mhm.
Like, people just I mean,
Yeah.
they just remember him as the Godfather with the hose and the whole 9 yards. So, I mean,
If they
we
brought
were
him
talking
back,
about, the one person that I wish they would bring back to commentary, and I don't know that they can because I don't know the whole story, is if you're going to have Michael Cole, you got to have the King.
Yeah,
You
I think
got to
he
have Jerry
outlived his
Lawler.
welcome.
yeah.
He
I
didn't
thought
change
you,
with the
yeah.
times, so he's not. Yeah, they can't afford to bring him back.
I mean, I just loved
I love the King.
the
King and
King.
JR were
Yeah.
great.
Oh
And
yeah.
the other commentator, obviously, that I miss, I mean, he can't obviously come back because he's passed away, is Bobby Heenan.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The brain.
Bobby Heenan. We met him,
Yep. Met the
you
brain.
know. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's absolutely hilarious. He tried to trip a guy carrying a ladder in the bottom of the basement of the War Memorial.
I believe it.
Yep.
That
We
that's
were
the Heenan
there.
thing. Yep.
Oh yeah.
We were there. We met at the same time. We met Bobby Heenan. We met Slick,
Mhm.
Yep.
and who's the other mascot that we met? Sean, we never met Captain Lou, and we never met Mr. Fuji, but it was somebody else was there. Slick, Bobby Heenan, and Jimmy's Heart.
Jimmy Hart.
Nice.
Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, because Hogan was there. Because Hogan was
Yes.
coming down.
Hogan was coming down. We were supposed to have dinner with Hogan, but he left right away, so we couldn't. But met the Macho Man. That was awesome.
Macho Man, Bret Hart,
Yeah.
met Bret's wife.
Yep.
We saw her.
Yep. We met Brutus the Barber Beefcake's wife. She was fucking hot.
No, when you said all these commentators, because I always thought it was cool watching Sunday Night Heat because it was only an hour that I went into grade school the next day because I stayed up. But the one commentator I miss was Kevin Kelly.
Oh God, really?
Him and Michael Cole actually had a good duo thing on Sunday Night Heat for a little bit. But yes, I pulled that one out of my ass.
Hugh.
Yes, Paul noticed I've been trying to say this since we were talking about The Godfather. Do you think if they brought him back, he'd have to say human trafficking ain't easy?
Nice. That's good, man.
Wow.
I'm glad you waited for that one. Yes, that is the title right there. Yeah, I think he's gonna be problematic. I think he's got a better chance of coming back as Papa Shango.
Yeah.
So Val Venus would be probably censored to this day too.
Oh yeah. They
Ugh.
can't do any of those. Well, I mean, give it a couple more months with the current administration, it might be okay.
Yeah.
How about Mark Henry, sexual chocolate? I remember my mom walking into the room. She's like, "What the fuck is this?" And my dad is like, "This is sexual chocolate, man."
He's
was
he's
just
got a
dumb.
contract again with WWE. It's a Legends contract.
Could
Oh,
he be
wow.
could he be in the Royal Rumble?
Could. Will he? Probably not. But I mean, I was gonna go into more of like the matches we've got lined up for Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, because I don't know who's on. Who's doing?
Yeah,
I know that Ripley and Naya, but that's it.
Rhea and Naya are gonna be on. We've got Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman.
Okay.
We've got Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. And I believe our main event is going to be Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight
that's right.
Championship.
That's right. That's the other one.
Oh, wow.
I
told
like
you
Yeah, I'm not excited about that.
that match.
Yeah.
It's a foregone conclusion what's going to happen. Like why?
Yeah. And here's the thing. He's getting a title match a week before he's in a match to get a title match because he's in the Rumble too, right?
Right. Yes. So yeah. I feel you. That is another one that I don't feel like Saturday night's main event has any stakes.
Yeah.
But it's
I mean,
just a lot of fun.
The smart thing to do here would be to make that show have stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the other platforms that you watch WWE on, people are already paying for that platform, except for this. This also shows up on NBC, which you can get over the air. Give that stakes. That will entice people to the other shows.
True. Very true.
I do like
and I
steak.
mean, and it reinforces their whole slogan that they've done since what? The 70s? Anything can happen at any time.
Right.
Well,
That
they're adding all these new championships, and I hope that the point of adding these championships is so that they change hands a lot more often
Mhm,
because they need to.
absolutely. Yeah. Which brings me to one of my other topics. Two new championships have been introduced and crowned since we last talked about wrestling. Both for the women. We've got the women's U.S. title, which Chelsea Green is now carrying, winning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love the new gimmick where she's basically playing it off like she's the president.
Yeah.
Fucking love
Yep.
that shit.
That's
And
funny.
just this past Monday, not
2 Mondays ago.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is a sore subject, isn't it, Corbs? So the women's intercontinental title, that came down to the finals of Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria, and this is one of the matches that was happening while I was picking Madison up, so I wasn't seeing what was going on. And Corbs and I text throughout Monday Night Raw usually, and he was very excited about this match. He's a big fan of Dakota Kai. As I'm picking Madison up, and on Mondays we also pick up one of her friends, and I have to drive her home, so I can't have wrestling blaring in the Bronco the whole time. So I don't know what's going on. All I know is I get a text from Corbs, and he says, "I'm fucking done. I'm not watching wrestling anymore." And I'm like, "What the hell just happened?"
Wow. You got that into a Dakota Kai match? I don't
Oh
get it.
God, I'd really love to get that into Dakota Kai. Um,
Well, you know what?
No,
No,
see,
I don't
I'm
know.
the opposite.
I was about both of them. Trust me.
I love, well, women's side is I love Becky and Lyra because the Irish
Irish
accent
girls. Yes.
is just, yeah. Let's put it this way. When I was long time ago, when I was watching American Idol and they had the girl, her name was Carly Smithson on
Yes.
Irish
Ireland,
girl.
and she finished in like seventh place. I voted for her every single time because of her Irish accent.
Hmm.
That
I remember Carly.
that just does it for me. And now that Lyra has the Intercontinental title, I'm all about it.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong. And I said this to Paul when they were wrestled before they wrestled. They both deserve to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, Dakota Kai's been through a lot. She's been hurt,
A lot of injuries,
Yeah.
and
a
that's
lot of
probably why they didn't
injuries,
put the title on her.
and I get that, and I get that. And in fact, Lara definitely deserved the title. I mean, she's been close numerous times for other titles, so I get giving her the title. And you're right. I'm hoping maybe it changes hands a little more frequently. Um,
I'd like to see it.
so,
I'd like to
and,
see it with a lot of the titles. Make it
but
more exciting.
I get why you have those titles too, because some of these girls can't compete with Nia Jax, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan. They're not. I mean, Liv Morgan's on the smaller side as
But
opposed to
she's
like
still a superstar.
right, but she's a superstar. But these
Yeah.
other girls, and they'll and people will tell you, and even Triple H has said it that the women's division has come
Fire.
on fire. That's why they're pushing so hard and giving them extra titles because they're 9 times, a couple times a month or whatever. They're closing the show with a women's
Hmm.
match. So that's wild coming from the Attitude Era when you
One.
had some when you had
That's
some of the top all-time females in the wrestling business at the time. I mean, Trish Stratus, you had Lita,
Sable.
Sable, Jacqueline, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, all these guys. They were all there. They're all Hall of Famers.
Hmm.
So you come from that to and they weren't being prominently shown on TV. They were mid card or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think between NXT and these girls coming up from NXT, and I think that the four horsewomen, Bailey, and I make sure I get this right. It's Bailey, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha.
Yeah.
When they came up, they revolutionized the women's division at that point, and it was becoming better at that point. You had the Bella Twins, you
Absolutely.
had
Yes.
but I think that those four women and all these other girls coming up have just absolutely destroyed the ceiling for the women's division.
Hmm.
And I enjoy watching wrestling again. And I watch it now because I know a lot of you guys watch it, and we have fun. And I text Paul during wrestling and stuff like that, and we joke around and all that stuff about it. But I enjoy watching the women wrestle.
Absolutely, they're phenomenal.
They're
It's not like it was in the '90s where it was a bra and panties match.
right.
It was. It's not about
They're
TNA
wrestling.
anymore. Yeah,
They're wrestling. They're actually wrestling. They're doing moves. And if you watch the show, just watch the show. The audience is more involved with the women's matches than they are with the men's matches.
absolutely.
The men's matches every once in a while, but you'll get this is awesome and stuff like that. But if there's three matches for women's, two of those matches they're chanting that stuff
Yeah, lights
during the
out.
match because these women are putting themselves out there. They're doing the stuff that the guys used to do. They're high flying, they're technical wrestling and all that stuff, and it's great to watch. And I know Paul doesn't watch it, but I enjoy watching NXT. Now I can't watch it now because I'm back playing cornhole on Tuesday nights, and I can't watch it. I could tape it and watch it, but the
Why
women,
why didn't you reach out to NXT and ask them to show it on a different night?
I did. They didn't.
That's it.
They said no.
They
No
said they would.
cornhole for you.
They said they would go to Fridays, but SmackDown was on Fridays.
And then Sundays for football.
Right.
So, but I enjoy watching NXT, and I enjoy watching the women's division in NXT, and that's where these girls are coming from. The girls down there are phenomenal wrestlers, and there's a lot more of them down there. I can see a couple of these girls coming up at some point. I think Roxanne Perez is going to make the jump
Oh
to
yeah,
SmackDown. I think she's going to go to Raw because I think her and Bailey are going to get into it. So I got a feeling. I got a feeling she may actually enter into the Royal
the
Rumble, women's
Rumble. It
Royal
could be.
Rumble.
And I think we've got Jordan Grayson coming now too.
Yeah, she's coming.
She's
She's
no
supposed to be
longer on the
coming in.
TNA roster,
No,
so
we can ask her if she doesn't show up. We can ask her in March.
that's what worries me. Is now that she's on the WWE roster,
You might not.
now she's on, she may end up canceling because I know she just canceled an appearance she was about to do in like the next couple weeks because of it.
Oh,
So
So she cancels her WWE appearance to go to the con. I got it. I know what you're saying.
yeah, that's
Well,
it.
they just signed a thing with TNA, right? So like
Yeah.
WWE and TNA can send people back and forth.
Mhm.
That's definitely going to be interesting. I did want to ask something though. And since you clearly know so much about the women's division, Corbs, maybe you can answer this for me. Um, they call Io Sky the genius of the skies, correct?
yeah.
Okay, I've been watching her lately, and she does a moonsault and puts a garbage can on her head at pay-per-views. She's not a bad wrestler, but I feel like the genius of the sky thing. Just when she first came out, I was expecting somebody who's going to be flying off the ropes all the time, and she
Right.
definitely doesn't seem to be doing that. Am I missing something?
She has a couple of moves that she does off the ropes. She has a missile drop kick.
Okay.
She does the moonsault, which is they call it the over the moonsault or something like that. I think that's what they call it, right, Paul?
I
Isn't
think
it her
so.
finisher?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's her finisher. But she does those things like she'll do them off the top of the steel cage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She did it at
Along
was
with
it?
a
Yeah, I saw
garbage
that.
can on her head.
So
Yeah.
I don't know where the name came from.
'Cause I guess I was
Cover
expecting
marketing.
something different when
Right.
she debuted.
More
Right. Yeah.
luchador type
Yeah.
of moves.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but Corbs, you're right though. The women
Busy.
sometimes you just tune in for them because it's more finesse, more technical. Like the men is still great, but like the women have come so much farther, and it's really impressive. And sometimes they're more superior than the men nowadays. Like you ask people that question, and it's give and take, but like more women get more votes than they used to for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, two more things I've got here. One, Penta finally made his debut with us at WWE. Got a huge pop in San Jose.
Yep.
Yep.
The second week, it was still pretty good, but I feel like it wasn't as big of a pop. Do you guys feel like maybe that's because his entire family wasn't there?
Maybe.
That's
Wow, dude. Wow, dude.
That's awful.
Wow.
He took over like two sections, right? Is that what you're
Jesus
getting at?
Christ.
All jokes aside, I was super psyched for him to see the pop he's getting, the push he's gonna get. They do some really cool shit. That what is the Mexican Destroyer? That's his finish.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool move.
That is something. But I still maintain that he is going to be relegated to tag team status as soon as FedEx comes over.
Oh, I agree.
So
Do you
As
say
soon as
I
his
mean, I think that's going to happen regardless because that's what they do with all the Mexican and Latin wrestlers.
right.
I-
You know what? Give it a year. These two will be in the LWO. So
it's like they keep bringing on these really talented people, but they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
That's why they need to bring back like the cruiserweight division or
Yeah.
something. But I think Penta's too big for cruiserweight. But
Yeah, but if you
The
start
flippity floppity championship.
if you get a little more separation of the division, if you get a cruiserweight division and a heavyweight division type of thing, you can have guys kind of. You got everybody going for the heavyweight title. They don't have anything. They got the Intercontinental and the U.S. Championship, but the Intercontinental one is on Nakamura still.
Shinsuke, yeah.
U.S. title.
Yeah, U.S.
Yeah,
title is with
yes.
them, and the Intercontinental is with
Braun
Braun.
Breaker. Yeah.
Braun. What's the other one?
I think
World
that's
Heavyweight Championship with Gunther and the Universals with Cody.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
it.
Yeah, they don't have a
The
light
tag
heavyweight
titles.
or the European title
Right.
anymore.
Oh, that's the other one. So it was the European title.
That's
But yeah,
been
I
around
mean,
for a while.
if you could kind of get a little separation, but what I'm getting at is, Gunther and Cody both heavyweights. Braun's definitely a heavyweight.
Mhm.
I mean, he's got the Intercontinental title. I mean, no offense, do you see him losing it at all? I mean, he's destroying people.
If he's gonna drop that, they're gonna put him in the world title contention.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So you got to kind of you got these other little guys that are out there. You got Rey Mysterio is kind of smallish, but he fights the heavyweight stuff. But you got no offense, you got Dom, you got JD McDonough.
Like, what are you gonna do with all these guys? You can't keep them all in the tag team division. Do
Right.
something with them. Yeah.
Right. If you had a cruiserweight division, or
What about a middleweight?
Bring
Well,
back the
boxing.
hardcore title too. Goddamn it.
That's what I was just gonna say. The hardcore title would be kind of cool to bring back because you had your street fight the other night, like
Yeah.
the 24, like when Crash Holly was the 24/7 champ. Like that was like yeah, well he was the hardcore champ. Yeah, that was
But
hardcore.
It was defended 24 hours a day.
Because I always remember what was it? It was Briscoe. He
On
pinned him
TV.
one time and he was like 1, 2, 3. He's like, and then literally Crash Holly was like, "Fuck you! I pinned you again." And then he was like champion like 4 times in one night.
Yeah. Wasn't there one like episode where it changed hands like 17 times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They threw champagne in somebody's eyes or something. That was entertaining.
So I think maybe you got to come up with something for the
Bring it back
little
around.
to get some of these other guys. I mean, how many times can you have freaking Dom fight Gunther?
Right.
Right.
I mean, I'll watch Gunther beat the shit out of Dominic Mysterio every single week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's become that to me. It's become the running gag. I mean, he goes out there and gets the shit kicked out of him,
Yep.
but then somehow somehow figures out how to win, or the guy, or freaking Judgment Day interferes and
Yep. Because
he gets
Dom
the
is the
cheap
top
win.
heel in the company now.
Right.
Hands
So-
down. Everybody fucking
Kevin
hates
Kevin
him.
Owens is giving him a run for his money.
Yes. Love Kevin Owens. Love what they're doing with him. I am all about it. I want the new Kevin Owens shirt, which is exactly like the one I own, but it's in red instead of blue with the KO.
What, the Canadian Dream shirt?
No, the one that's just the black with the KO on it. I have the one
Oh.
that's blue when he went to SmackDown.
All
Now
right.
he's got the red one.
I thought you were talking about the Canadian Dream, son of a information or security systems technician. That was
I
great.
like that. Yep. The one that they're pushing now is one I will never buy. It says Kevin is right.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Anyway, let's throw it back to commercial, and we'll come back and wrap this shit up. Stick with us, guys. guys, what are you watching?
Well, I just finished up Landman. I didn't talk about that last week, did I?
Landman?
Landman.
The one on Paramount.
Yes.
Let's see.
I've
Whatever.
watched it. How many now? Is there only 8 episodes of it?
There's 10, I believe.
There's 10.
I
Okay,
believe there's
I'm
10.
3 episodes from the end then.
Okay. Well, after all of the, Yellowstone and everything, my wife and I decided we must like Taylor Sheridan. So we went right into Landman. Landman was fucking fantastic. I absolutely love it. Everything about it. The incredibly written characters, the relationship between Tommy and his wife, just everything is fucking awesome about that. I was hoping it would translate to Lioness because we don't have anything to watch right now. So we started watching Lioness. It's not bad, but it does not have the same feel as any of his other shows that I've seen
I don't
so
know.
far.
Lioness is pretty freaking awesome. I've watched
Maybe it
both
gets.
seasons. They're both awesome. Like I'm a
I don't know.
big fan.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying that
It's
go.
not.
It's different. It feels like it was written by somebody else.
I know I haven't seen Landman, but I watch Lioness like with bated breath.
Yeah.
Every week. I just loved it that much.
Well, if you're able to, and I think you guys have Paramount in that
Yeah,
household,
we do.
so you definitely should watch Landman. I mean,
Definitely watch
that's like
Landman.
maybe my favorite show of last year.
Yeah, Landman was good.
Give me the rundown. Like, what's it about?
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Okay, go ahead, you.
Basically, the idea is when you're running an oil field, you need somebody on the ground actually managing things. Okay, you've got the big oil executive, which is played by John Hamm, and then you've got Tommy, who actually runs the field, and he's played by Billy Bob Thornton. And running the field sometimes means some illegal shit. It means some heads need to get cracked. It needs some crazy stuff has to happen in order to keep this all running that the executives really don't want to know about. So he's actually the most valuable person there. And at some point, somebody in the show says to the oil executive, he's like, man, you got to get rid of that Tommy. He's going to be a troublesome day. And he was like, every single company has a Tommy. In fact, a company can't run without a Tommy. And they're right. He's not a bad guy. He's not purposely doing anything bad. He's just keeping hundreds of pumps running in oil fields and crews going to them. And there's just a lot there. He's doing the best he can. And it's setting that as the scene. And, there's shit that normally goes wrong. And then there's all the extra shit that happens in this show. And I'll tell you, the relationship between him and his wife is one of the most satisfyingly written relationships I've ever seen in television. Because you know that those two people are the only people in the world for them. They have to be together. And not because they're lovey-dovey, it's because nobody else can fucking put up with either of them. But they also managed to pull off some of the sweetest moments. Like, you get it. It's not like they're the only ones who can put up with them. You're like, they're the only ones that actually get each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's beautiful.
His wife is played by Allie Ladder.
Oh, Allie Ladder. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
No.
Gotta watch it.
I got, let me check my schedule.
I wasn't
got
expecting
free time.
much. I wasn't expecting much, and I was just blown away right out the gate.
Yeah, I watched it. So it played right after the last 2 episodes of Yellowstone on Paramount, and I got to watch those two. And then I started going on to Paramount Plus and watching it. So, but yeah, I love the show too. It's got some really good, so a lot of good interactions between the two of them, stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely, if you have Paramount Plus, it's definitely worth the
Okay.
watch.
Well,
I just have
like I
one
said,
question.
I checked my schedule. I got time.
Now, Tommy, did he used to work on the docks?
Oh my God.
Wow,
I
bad
don't
joke,
think
bad
so.
joke.
But I hear the union's been on strike, and he's down on his luck.
It's tough.
So tough.
So tough. I've been sitting here waiting the whole time just to make that stupid ass joke.
Oh, you're an ass.
Jesus Christ.
Mediocrity.
My God.
All right, let's keep it moving.
All right, so I watch the show Doc. It's a brand new show on Fox. So it's a medical drama. Of course, they're all
With a
about
twist.
with a twist. So one of my favorite movies growing up was Regarding Henry. I mentioned that to you guys on the show before. So basically, for the people who have never heard of this show, it's a story about a doctor named Dr. Amy Larson who loses her memory after a car accident. She must return to being an intern and somehow rebuild her life for the pieces that remain. So she can remember things from 8 years ago and before that, but nothing after that. So the show starts out her being the chief of internal medicine. Go figure. So she is a hard ass. She's very hard on the doctors that work with her. She's very mean. She's very coarse. She tells patients, she's like, I'm the doctor. You're going to shut up and I'm going to try to save your life. And she's very mean to everybody. She comes back, and there's only been 3 episodes so far. She's retraining. Like her ex-husband has remarried. Her daughter wants nothing to do with her. One of the doctors she actually has a relationship with doesn't remember him. So one of the actors I like in the show is named Scott Wolf. He was on one of the shows I liked in the 90s, Party of Five, Guilty Pleasure. It's a pretty good show. But he's in the show. He plays a good part. So I really enjoyed it. 3 episodes so far. You watch all 10 episodes. It's one of these shows. Maybe it'll get greenlit for a second season. I don't know, but it's pretty impressive so far.
Nice.
The other thing I watched, Tubi, is a streaming platform, which I've actually enjoyed. So this was a documentary called Soaked in Bleach, it's called. So it's about an investigator named Tom Grant. He's a private investigator hired by Courtney Cox to investigate the last days of Kurt Cobain. So this was really, really good. Because I'm really into my
Do you mean
forensics.
Courtney Love?
What's that?
Do you mean Courtney Love?
I said Courtney Love. Yeah.
No,
It's
you
Courtney
said
Cox.
Oh,
Courtney
did I say? I'm
Cox
sorry. I'm sorry. Courtney Love.
from France.
Yes. Okay. Whatever. But
I'm
this
like, what?
I know I fucked that up. All right. But all right, Courtney Love hires this guy to investigate the death of Kurt Cobain because, like I said, like I really am to the forensic sciences because, like, I actually got a notebook out. This is how geeked I got about this documentary because you learn more about Kurt Cobain. He had ADHD. He hated to be around people.
Mhm.
He actually bought this shotgun for protection. He was actually getting ready to file a divorce against Courtney Love because he did not want to be with her. So now I'm going back into my own head again because I'm writing that book, What If, that I told you guys about. And I wrote a 10-page chapter about Kurt Cobain's last couple of days. Did he actually commit suicide or was he murdered? So this is actually kind of getting interesting again. So like now I'm watching a couple more documentaries about Kurt Cobain. I'm like, because he was actually writing his own music. He was getting ready to leave Nirvana and he wanted to do his own solo act. So like I was like, this is getting really interesting. Not Courtney Cox, Courtney Love was hired this guy. So if you have Tubi soaked in bleach, this was an interesting documentary. So I was actually pretty much enjoying that.
Wow. I didn't know that was
So
a thing. I may have to check that one out. And Tubi is a free app, right?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Tubi and Pluto are free apps and they're actually pretty nice.
Just interesting side script. Pluto used to
Yeah.
be a planet.
Exactly. Well, everyone like say like, oh, I'm watching football or I'm watching this Netflix show or this Peacock show, but Tubi is a streaming platform that's for free.
Outstanding.
Nice.
PC.
Well, like I said, I was watching Ink Master. Like I said, I like to watch, people come up with tattoo ideas and stuff. And yesterday, actually, I watched the first original Gladiator with Russell Crowe, because it'd been a while since I'd seen it, because Paramount Plus has Gladiator II,
Nice.
and I wanted to watch it, so I did. So I know some people haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna get into it. But it was decent. Denzel plays a great part. But I wanted to know if it was a true sequel or if it was just named Gladiator 2 because there was a Gladiator. And it was very interesting how they did it. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't fantastic. It wasn't like the first one. Like, I mean, obviously the first one won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Russell Crowe won Best Actor. So I mean, that one is just phenomenal, and I loved watching that again. Um, there's not too many other like shows. I mean, I did watch both seasons of Lioness, which I loved. I love those kind of shows. Military kind of like shows. SEAL Team is one of my favorite shows. I've watched the whole series twice so far. Um, I did watch the remake of Point Break. Um,
Nice.
I wasn't a fan. The original one is, you know, what it is. Actually, I forgot to say this when I'm playing Dragon Age Origins, my character's name is Johnny Utah. After Keanu Reeves in Point Break. Just because I'd watched it like right before that. Um, I mean, obviously I'm watching I mean, I haven't watched too much hockey, which is very surprising for myself. Um, I did watch, like I said, the national championship game the other night, but as far as like streaming stuff, it's basically Ink Master. I'm on the this past season on Paramount Plus. I'm on that, which is actually kind of interesting. Because some of the tattoos that the groups are doing this time around are utterly amazing. The two groups that are going are OGs and Young Guns. It's people who have tattooed 10 years or longer and people who have tattooed 10 years or less are going against each other. And actually, on the team that's tattooed 10 years and longer, there is a father and son duo.
Nice.
Dad's been tattooing like 25, 30 years, and the son's been tattooing 13 years. They tattoo obviously together. But it's really cool. I think that's really about it. I haven't really watched too many other different movies that I've already seen. Like I watched another 48 Hours last night. I hadn't seen that in a while. Um, Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte. I mean, that's just a great buddy cop movie. So, yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, the only thing I've watched is Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Did you guys watch this on Disney
Yep.
I
Plus?
Haven't seen it yet.
I haven't
watched
seen
the
it.
first episode.
Um, it was described as Star Wars Goonies, and I'd say that's pretty accurate. It was a good show. It was enjoyable. Madison loved it. I knew she was going to love it from the moment we met Neil in the show, and that is the elephant-looking kid.
Okay.
Um, that's to the point that she tried to talk me into buying her the Black Series figure of it, and I'm like, bitch, you got rid of all of your Star Wars toys. And then the guy in GameStop looked at me funny because I'm calling a 14-year-old a bitch. That's not true. That never happened.
That
You
could have
know,
been me
He didn't look at you funny.
in Avery.
Good series. I enjoyed it. Jude Law's awesome in that. I love that we got to see the whole pirate aspect of Star Wars. Pretty neat stuff.
I
It's
just
nothing
don't
earth-shattering.
know. I hope they don't try to make a sequel,
Nope.
another season, and
Yep.
unless they have a really, really good idea, because on its own, it is a good self-contained story, a little slice of life in the galaxy far, far away,
Mhm.
and it doesn't need to be anything more. You
Agreed.
could certainly use some characters. I'd like to see Jude Law pop back up somewhere.
Somewhere else.
But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. I watched it like 2 episodes at a time. I'd save them up because I was kind of dreading watching it because you really needed to pay attention to the show because it doesn't have trappings we're familiar with. It's all new, so you can't just like half-ass watch it while you're doing something else. But once I got into it, I enjoyed every episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I don't need more.
I remember when that was first talked about at Star Wars Celebration, and that was like 2 years ago, or no, 3 years ago now. So yeah, but no, it's worth. So it's like Goonies. So like short answer, is it worth it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
worth a watch.
Wait,
Okay.
what?
Absolutely.
You haven't watched this yet? What the fuck is wrong with you,
I think
Jack?
it's you and me, man. That's it.
Oh,
You got shit
No, I'm not
to do.
anymore.
Nah, I don't have no time to watch that. Like,
But you have time to watch Kurt Cobain documentaries.
That was pretty damn good, though.
I'm just saying you're the Star Wars guy. I mean, Paul loves Star Wars, but come on, you went to Celebration.
I know.
I'm just
I,
shocked that you
Yeah,
weren't like watching that
Acolyte
the
really
second it
turned
came
me
out.
off, but I do want to see this, though, for sure.
yeah. We fired the other Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
Acolyte was really bad.
Well, I read the Skeleton Crew got worse ratings than Acolyte.
Really?
Did it?
Yeah.
Acolyte was really good. I really enjoyed Acolyte.
Well, I think the whole Star Wars TV universe is kind of in trouble right now.
I agree. I agree.
Right.
But that's a topic for a whole different time, and
Yeah.
because it's getting late. The only other thing that I saw that I wanted to bring up to you guys was the teaser trailer for Daredevil: Born Again that's coming
Yes.
to. Oh
Ooh.
my God.
Yes. 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 Oh, yes.
I can't wait.
I can't wait.
When
My
does it come
favorite
wait.
out?
part of that is Wilson Fisk saying it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you.
Oh,
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's fucking awesome.
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
wait.
I was like, wow. Wow. I can't wait. Wow.
Dude,
And
you know, he totally plays Wilson Fisk as if he's kind of on the spectrum, and I love it.
I agree. Yep. And it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal because it fits.
did the
Yeah,
teaser trailer say when it's coming out?
March.
March.
Oh, I gotta
Don't
see the
ask me
trailer
March
now.
what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
March
you have
4th,
to-
or like it's the March
It's
4th,
early
or
March,
like
yeah.
that week that we're gonna play D&D. It comes out that week.
Oh, we may have to cancel. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I have a Christmas gift for Luke on my shelf here.
I gave him mine at the show in December, Misfit Toy. But yes, we are really going back to the table. I promise. But that's all I have. That looks phenomenal. It looks like it's right back into the spirit of the Netflix show, which I'm going to start a rewatch of, so I remember
Yes, I'm
what
gonna have to
happened.
do the same thing. I'm
That
gonna have
was
to
such a good
rewatch.
show. Yeah.
I
Here's
mean,
the thing, though. Can you rewatch it without watching Defenders? Like, can you skip Defenders and go right to season 3? Because to watch
I'm-
Defenders, you have to watch Iron Fist, and I don't want to do that.
right. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
like hell. I'm gonna watch the 3 seasons and maybe Punisher, because Frank does show up in that if you haven't seen it. So
Yes, I gotta watch I gotta do Punisher. I haven't done Punisher yet.
Oh, that's a good show.
That's
Yeah.
a really good one.
I
But
missed that
I
initially
did the
too, so I gotta
Daredevil
go
one,
back
and
to it.
I like it was one of those ones that I think that I started watching right after I got my leg amputated, and I just was like, you binge watch.
Mhm.
Well, for me, since I couldn't do anything, binge watching was days at a time. One day ran into the next, and Alex would be like, "I'm going to school." I said, "Well, I'm on, season 1, episode 9." So yeah.
Right. I can't wait. I think we're gonna jump into that next week. Hopefully, get it done before I'm left alone for 7 days. We'll address that off mic. But I don't have anything else. I don't know if anybody else has anything to address.
Well,
But
I haven't gone yet, so
Jesus Christ, I stepped over you. I thought you.
seriously. But
You did.
you went. I was just like, hey, let him go. He's fucking
You just
I only
ran
got one.
roughshot right over.
Seriously, man. He just fucking hit me out of bounds and shit.
Now, the great thing would be if you were like, yeah, I haven't watched anything. I've just been bowling. That would be perfect.
You watched
Wish I could-
Kingpin.
I wish I
too.
could say that, but I've actually did watch a new show the last 2 weeks. It's called Shifting Gears with Tim Allen and
Oh yes,
Kate Downings.
and her boobs.
So they have great chemistry. The two of them have great chemistry. I mean, Tim Allen has chemistry with a lot of people.
Yes.
He's very funny, but the two of them together,
Especially with his Coke dealer, I hear.
That was the 70s. He's taking it back.
So, but yeah, that's not much to say about it. He's Tim Allen. He's a guy. He runs a restoration shop. His daughter, Kate Jennings, she comes back home after being high school. Well, she graduated high school, but she was pregnant in high school. She married a musician.
One does.
Ended up getting a divorce, so she has to move back home because she doesn't have any money, type of thing. So it's on Thursday nights on ABC, 8:30, I think it is.
Who's his daughter played by?
Cat Denny.
Yeah, the girl from Two
Denning?
Broke Girls.
Oh, Two Broke Girls, Kat Denning?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Or-
That
or
was
for
one of
the
my
Thor
my
movies.
favorite shows. I watch reruns on that all the time.
So
Two
Never
Broke
seen that
Girls. I
show.
love that shit.
there's another one that I'm getting ready to start watching. It's my mom said it's got recorded. It's called Going Dutch
Oh yeah,
with Dennis Leary.
Oh,
he's great.
Is that the military one?
Yep.
Okay, I've seen the ads for it.
Yeah, it looks pretty funny. I mean,
Oh,
obviously Dennis
Dennis
Leary
Leary.
is funny.
I just saw an old commercial with him in it talking about hockey. It's him and he's talking about, I love the Bruins, I love hockey, I love this, I love that. And then he at the end of the thing, he's skating down the ice and he goes, I love that I'm on the fact that I'm on a 2-0 breakaway with the greatest player in the world, and he pans over and it's Wayne Gretzky. And he goes, what I'm not loving is he's not passing it to me. Hilarious. So yeah, I loved him. Rescue Me, one of my all-time favorite series with him in it. Great.
Yeah.
When does that come out? That Going Dutch? Is that out already?
It's already out. There's
Oh,
okay.
2 episodes recorded on the DVR.
Outstanding.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and last but not least, I'll bring this up. R.I.P. Bob Uecker.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
WWE Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Tried the corner and missed.
Yep. Yeah, just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
Ball 4. Ball 8.
Oh.
Ball 12. His walk, the bases loaded.
Yep.
That's
all we got. One goddamn hit. Can't say goddamn. Don't care. Who cares? Nobody's listening anyway. I love him.
In case you didn't know, Hugh, these are all quotes from Major League.
Oh, okay. I figured Bob Uecker was the one that said all those things. So.
He was.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Wasn't he the one that had the thing with Kane?
Yes.
Yes.
And he got choked out by no. You're thinking Pete Rose.
Oh,
he was the one that got choked out by Andre the Giant.
Andre, yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
So,
all right, but I got nothing left.
You got no left.
I got nothing left.
Is it time for nuggets? Are we making nuggets again?
Making them? No, but we should probably drop them.
Are you gonna drop it? You gonna drop your nuggets on the ground?
Absolutely. Don't let anyone treat you like free salsa. You're guacamole. You are guacamole. Good night, everybody, and Mega Mighty Bitches.
This has been a Geek Pod Network production.